I've got a real special The Sophia Chang Show for you today. I've got my very first guest. He's known as Robs10kFriends on Instagram, and he's doing this project basically for the next 10 years where he is going to spend 1 hour with 10,000 people. It's based off of Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 Hours of Mastery. Gladwell's awesome. There goes my tea kettle. Let me go turn that off. We had a really great conversation. For me, it's always a treat when I get to bring a little of the East Coast into this otherwise ambitionless slacker life where I'm marooned out here in Los Angeles. So Rob is based in Philly. He was a former consultant for Deloitte before he set off on this nomadic adventure. And as you know, I did Nomad 2015, where I took 13 months and I traveled around the world learning dance from the best in every city and teaching dance as well. And so, I definitely had my Eat, Pray, Love year. Thank you, Elizabeth Gilbert. And so I had a great time talking with somebody who actually had, ambition and was going somewhere. And my question that I had him answer for my podcast is, now, ever since my TBI, I've really felt a loss of hopes and dreams, in addition to a complete loss of my identity. Everything that I loved, I can't do anymore. So who I am is really in flux right now. It's a huge jar to your identity when you go through this life-changing loss. And if you go to my blog, 52faces.com, you'll see my essay, Firstborn Sophia is Dead. I actually had to mourn her. This is something I picked up from a fellow Harvardian. She was a stroke survivor, and she said, you really have to have a funeral for who you used to be, because that person is gone. That person is dead, and you got to let them go. So here I am meeting this young kid who's got his whole world ahead of him, and I said, 70-year-olds often tell me that I'm still young, and even 45-year-olds are like, oh, you've got plenty of time. But here he is, about a decade younger than me. And, he can't come to me with that perspective. So what would he say? I asked him, what would you say to somebody who's really lost their hopes and dreams, and they're not in their early 20s or mid 20s, and they can't just muck around until 29, the way Gary Vee says, with their eyes closed. Like, you really are at a different place in life. So what would you say to somebody like that? So here's what he had to say. And real coffee shop noise in the background.
So I think it doesn't matter what age you are, you can still pursue your hopes and dreams, because one of the things that I've learned through my project is that nobody knows what they're doing with their life despite what age they are. So it doesn't matter if it's a 50-year-old who's looking for something new, like a recent mother who's trying to figure out how to work with her kids, or not a teen, but like a recent college graduate. Everyone is kind of looking for what that next path is. And for me, I think there's a lot of room to operate within that, because none of us know what we're doing. It's like you can be comfortable in that space as opposed to thinking that everyone else but you has it figured out.
Thanks so much for meeting up with me, Rob, and appearing on the Sophia Chang Show today. You guys can download the Anchor app and favorite this podcast so that you'll never miss an episode. You can also follow and find me on Instagram at The Sophia Chang and on Twitter. And if you want to find out where Rob is and be one of his friends, then this is how you can find him.
So my project can mainly be found on Instagram at Robs10kFriends. That's where I keep track of all the people who I've met with and the stories that I post on them. I also post to Facebook and Twitter, but it just links back to Instagram. And then I have a website as well, which is Robs10kFriends.com. And sometimes I'll share insights about what I'm learning at certain milestones or just through the journey. So that's it. That's where you can find me.
Thanks so much for listening to the Sophia Chang Show. If you liked what you heard, subscribe, rate 5 stars, and better yet, write a review about what you liked. And feel free to submit any questions that you have that you want answered on air. I really appreciate you listening.